Really appreciate you.
And then I don't know if you were here for it. I don't know if it's like for you next year when you join. But
So who's here for the Orange Crunch? Raise your hand. Oh. I'm not going to ask, where are the samples? That's a cool sign. It came up. IT's not here yet, so let's hope that it works. I'm going to take my chances. So we're on House Bill 411, Delegate Corman, State Destination, State Mineral, Crop-Mite State Mineral Act. Good afternoon. You can get started.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair, colleagues in the Health and Government Operations Committee, Madam Vice Chair. I'm here before you with House Bill 411, the State Mineral Act. Chromite was first discovered in America in Baltimore County in 1808 by Isaac Tyson Jr. There are about 46 historic mills around the state. Unfortunately, I could not find any in Prince George's or Anne Arundel County, but they're all over the state in other areas. This bill was actually brought before this committee, some of you may remember, 7 years ago by my predecessor, Delegate Frick, for our constituent, David Shore. At the time, he was a young 10-year-old boy. Now he's still young, but 18-year-old man, trying again. This Delegate Warman is, of course, our shared constituent, so we're very happy to present this bill on his behalf and on behalf of all Marylanders who are interested in sort of lifting up this sort of little-known part of Maryland history as a state symbol. About half the states have state minerals, so this is not, something novel or new. This is something that we see all over the country. Chromite has a long history in the state. It serves as the inspiration for many sites and areas, including Chrome Hill in Hartford County and Chrome Mine Road in my own Montgomery County. So with that, Madam Chair, I would like to turn it over to the panel. We have the state geologist, we have my constituent, as I mentioned, and we also have your constituent, Jack Barnes, with us. So if it pleases the chair.
So why don't we start with you, Jack? Can you please put the microphone closer to you? Thank you. All right.
Hello, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jack Barnes. I live in District 21, Prince George's County. I'm here to support House Bill 411 to make chromite the state mineral. I am a fourth grader at University Park Elementary, and this year we are studying Maryland history because of a law passed by the General Assembly. One of my favorite things I've learned about Maryland is that we have a little bit of everything: beaches, mountains, fields, and forests. It's important that we celebrate Maryland for all of its awesome natural resources, and that includes chromite. Chromite is special to Maryland because it was first discovered in Bear Hills, Baltimore County, 1808. After its discovery, chromite became an important part of Maryland's mining industry. In the 1800s, Fells Point in Baltimore City was the largest port in the world for shipping chromite. It has been fun for me to learn about chromite as I got ready for this hearing, and passing this bill will help others like me to learn about the special role chromite has in Maryland history. I would also like to say there is no fiscal note. Thank you, and please vote yes on HB 411. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I would just hazard a guess, if there was a fiscal note, I think we could get it approved by appropriation.
I think so. As long as it's less than you know what amount. You did a great job, Jack.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and you're always welcome here. Who would like to go next?
Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I am Stephen Van Riswick, Director of the Maryland Geological Survey, a program within the Department of Natural Resources. Chromite is a mineral found in Maryland, specifically abundant in Harford, Baltimore, Howard, and Montgomery counties, and Baltimore City. Chromite has a rich history in Maryland. The mines in Baltimore County and Baltimore City were the main and at times sole provider of chromite in the post-colonial industrialization period. Chromite was mined in these locations until larger supplies that were more readily obtained were found. Mining for chromite stopped in Maryland in the 1860s. Several mines are still visible in Department of Natural Resources state parks today. Initial uses of chromite include paint for creating brighter colors. However, it was then quickly used in metallurgy, creating stronger, more durable, and more environmentally stable alloys. Without chromite, the development of steel would not have been as advanced in this nation. The Baltimore Chrome Works was founded in Fells Point in Baltimore, Maryland, and was the world's premier chrome plant through 1885. Maryland's varying geology yields many minerals within the state. However, no other mineral has such a unique instrumental history in post-colonial Maryland industrialization. Thank you.
That. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is David Shore, and I am here today in strong support of House Bill 411 to designate chromate as Maryland's official state mineral. Maryland's history is deeply tied to chromite in a way no other state can claim. It was here, in Bear Hills, Baltimore County, in 1808, that chromite was first discovered in the United States. It was a Marylander, Isaac Tyson Jr., who recognized its potential and launched an industry that made Maryland the world's leading exporter of chromite from 1828 to 1850. During that time, nearly all the world's chromium came from right here in Maryland, shipped out of Baltimore's port to industries across the globe. Chromite is woven into Maryland's geography, from Chrome Road in Cecil County to Chrome Mine Road in Montgomery County, a testament to its lasting impact. Even Silburn Mansion, now a Baltimore landmark, was built with wealth from Maryland's chromite industry. But chromite is not just history, it is all around us today. The stainless steel in our appliances, the metal in our cars, and even components in our electronics all depend on chromium, which comes from chromite. It is so important to our national security that the U.S. government keeps a stockpile of it. And in 2023 alone, over 100,000 metric tons of chromium were recycled, proving its ongoing value. Maryland has no state mineral, yet 28 other states do. If any mineral deserves this honor, it is chromite, the mineral that helped shape our economy, fueled our industry, and left a legacy that remains visible across our state. Maryland's chromium industry changed the world, and it's time we recognize this legacy. I urge you to support House Bill 411 to make chromite Maryland's official state mineral. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to open it up for questions now. Are there any questions for this panel? All right. Delegate Hutchinson.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
My pleasure.
Is chromite located on the Eastern Shore?
No.
Any other questions? Yes, Delegate Kaiser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm really tempted, Jack, to ask you if you have two of your three delegates here, if your favorite is the Chair Peña-Melnick or the gentleman in the back corner, but instead I'd like to ask, who's your favorite parent? Your mom or your dad?
Can I just say that both is an option? Both is an option.
Both.
Well, good. I have to help my constituent here. I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate you. Oh, Riley, you have a question?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so it sounds like chromite's very important. So is it currently used in our products today?
Who would like to answer that?
Yes, it is currently used in many products. They mentioned some in our presentation today.
Right.
So anything that has stainless steel and also in iron manufacturing.
So they still use it in our stainless steel and iron, okay.
Yeah.
So what state is kind of making it now, since did we completely stop, or are we still making it?
So we are not mining it currently in the
Okay.
state. It's most of the prospects now are not viable. There's not the volume that there was at that time. So most of it now is going to actually western states. It's a number of states as well as international.
But we are the first,
We are the first.
the
yeah.
most important. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and, okay, Delegate Ross.
You know, honestly, I was going to ask that about the products. I mean, it's exciting to be the first, but it's also a little bit scary because you don't have like a precedent. So I'm assuming this has been researched exhaustively, and we're not going to find out in like 20 years that it'll kill us or something like that.
No chance of that with chromite.
Okay, you're on record saying that. Thank you.
Delegate Taveras.
This is for Jack. This is, I don't know, we're going to put you to the test. Okay, have you seen the structure of chromite?
No,
Like
not
molecular,
yet.
it's pretty cool. It's like the color of a cube.
All right, I'll try to see it.
No, it's like a cube when you put it together. No, not the color of a cube, sorry, a cube, when you put it together molecularly.
It's molecular structure, she's
Go,
saying.
you gotta put it with a Lego set. You gotta put it together.
But you know what? He did say, I haven't seen it, but I'll look at it. Like, very good. Isn't that very well trained? I hear a future lawyer or scientist. All right. I don't see any other questions. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have Caitlin McDonough. Okay. That's it. So Alan Lang. Is Mr. Alan Lang here? Okay. None? Okay, that's it, right? All right, so this actually concludes the bill hearing on House Bill 411. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to the second bill of the day, which will be House Bill 1001. Delegate Hartman, State Destination State Cocktail Original Maryland Orange Crush. Can you bring your panel, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Person Secretary.
That was fun. Ask Malcolm what bill.
It seems like the theme of today is going to be first, so.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. For the record, I'm Delegate Wayne Hartman, here to present House Bill 1001. It was like an omen, 1001. We turned it into a creative little House Bill symbol down there and had some fun with it. So the purpose of this legislation is to designate the original Maryland Orange Crush as our official state cocktail. I think we can all agree that this has been a challenging session with many heavy lifts regarding the budget, energy policy, and much more. Today I'm presenting a bill that I hope we can all support, have a little fun with, show our Maryland pride, and at the same time create economic development. We don't get those chances often. The Orange Crush originated in 1995 at Harborside Bar and Grill in West Ocean City, Maryland, and they have been crushing it ever since. Later in the hearing, you will hear from Chris Wall, one of the owners of Harborside, who can tell you more of the cocktail's history. Since 1995, the drink has gained significant popularity, is now served in many states across the country. The goal behind this legislation is to establish recognition of this popular beverage and its ties to Maryland. With the help of House Bill 1001, the original Maryland Orange Crush will become as synonymous with our state as the Maryland Crab Cake. As you know, the tax on alcohol in Maryland is 9%. Increasing the recognition and popularity of the Maryland Orange Crush will grow the tax revenue in a substantial way and aid the state economy. It was shocking for me to learn about the volume of orange vodka and triple sec sales in Maryland. And with this legislation, it can only grow. And I will say that also with this bill, there's no fiscal note, although it should have been, because it should have shown the potential that Maryland has to grow and gain from the tax, the job creation, and everything that goes with it. I was given information from various sources, including wholesale liquor distributors, as to the volume of key ingredients that are resold in Maryland. Here are some of the messages. Breakthrough beverage provided to Chris Wall, I'm estimating 129,528 bottles of Smirnoff Orange. That's 129,528 Smirnoff Orange from Maryland for bars and liquor stores combined. I can't get an exact bottle count due to the various sizes. Pat Picorni from Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits says 9-liter cases is generally how everyone reports sales data across the region. Orange Vodka, 4,700 cases. This number accounts for all the brands we represent in the category. My math would suggest another 42,300 bottles. Republic National Distributing Company for Maryland, 12-month volume, orange flavored vodka, 12,647 cases of orange flavored vodka, and triple sec, another 15,588 cases. Deep Eddy brand, I believe it said in their written testimony that Maryland is the #1 state for orange vodka sales. These are incredible numbers. Calculate the number of beverages that this translates to, the number of retail bottles sold times 9%. That's a lot of tax revenue for Maryland. It's also a lot of jobs in Maryland, a lot of property tax and payroll tax paid, a lot of economic development, and there's a lot of opportunity for us to grow. I guess it's not surprising after hearing the volume of ingredients sold in the drink's popularity that the amount of interest in this bill has been astonishing. Out of the bills that I introduced this year, this is one that generated the most media inquiries and interviews. I recently attended a Restaurant Association of Maryland gala and mentioned House Bill 101 that makes Orange Crush the official cocktail in Maryland. The crowd was most enthusiastic that I had seen the entire evening. I had a similar experience when mentioning the bill last month at the Maryland Tourism Coalition meeting at Rams Head. It was at those two events that Secretary Addix and Marcy Ross from Commerce both committed to their support to make this happen. Have you ever seen two departments from the governor's administration at one bill hearing? It's pretty incredible. You also hear from the Worcester County Office of Tourism and Economic Development, the Maryland Tourism Coalition, and even one of our old friends, former State Senator Jim Mathias. Hope everyone had a chance to stop by my office today for a demonstration to make the Orange Crush, and hopefully you enjoyed it. This was all done in compliance with ethics and the Speaker's office.
I concur.
So at this time, I'm going to ask Chris Wall, the owner of Harborside, to share his story. But before I do, I'll leave you with this. You may have heard it earlier on the floor. We've all heard that Virginia is for lovers, but Maryland is where you had your first crush. Very good. Chris?
And for the record, just to show that I am very neutral, I have not had any today, okay?
But I think it's important that you sample it so that you can vote on it.
I did not say I didn't sample like a little while ago, but not today.
So we were going to have a tray here after.
And I won't say whose house I sample it in, but not today.
I understand.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I am.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Health and Government Operation Committee. I do believe between Lloyd's speech, my business partner, and my speech and everything he's just said, we've just about covered everything. But without the help of the whole state of Maryland, when we came up with the Orange Crush and put it on our drink menu, other drink menus in town started adding them. First person came to me and asked if that upset us. I said, no, imitation's the highest form of flattery. Thanks for the free advertising. That's the way I looked at it. It wasn't a competition. It was just the more the merrier. And then eventually, all across the state, every drink menu, and then all across the East Coast, Orange Crush is on the drink menu. And thank goodness most people know it came from at least Maryland, if not Ocean City and Harborside itself. We take a lot of pride in Maryland, always have, always will. We're just hoping maybe Maryland can show us a little pride also.
What are your tax numbers?
So thank you very much on that. Tax numbers, across the state, a crush can run anywhere from $10 to $15 a drink. That's 83 cents to $1.35 for every drink sold at 9% alcohol tax. That doesn't include the 9% of every bottle sold in a liquor store. Orange vodka has taken this state by storm. thank goodness. And it's bringing us a lot of money for all of us. And we couldn't have done it without all the restaurants across the state to help us form together and make this Maryland State cocktail.
Appreciate it. Next, please.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Kevin Attic, Secretary of Agriculture, here to support House Bill 1001. You should be asking a question, and that is, why is the Secretary of Agriculture supporting a bill to make Orange Crush the state cocktail? And the answer is that our agency is hugely supportive of value-added agriculture and of farming writ large. What is in this drink? I will say that I'm hoping that we will not be in the business in Maryland of growing oranges anytime soon. However, we grow vodka, and we grow a lot of vodka. The grain on the Eastern Shore, the corn in Western Maryland, much of it turns into spirits produced by our 20-plus distillers across the state. And there happens to be a primary ingredient once you get past oranges in Orange Crushes, and that is vodka. And so this is an economic development bill. This is a bill that supports value-added agriculture, and this is a bill that supports traditional agriculture. And for that, and for our farmers, and for our businesses, I urge your favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to open it up for questions. Vice Chair Collison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wondering if you would be concerned about a shortage of orange vodka.
Let's only hope that could be the case.
Indeed, thank you.
You would say that's a good problem.
That's a great problem. At 9%, it might even fill the $3 billion hole we're working on.
Thought it was up to
Very
40.
creative. Delegate Hill and then Delegate Kerr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary Adams, thank you so much. And Delegate Hartman, thank you so much. A quick question. We made Maryland Rye the official spirit.
We did.
And so my question to you, concerned about my friend here from the Eastern Shore, have we seen that has had an economic impact already?
We have, and thank you to the committee for establishing Maryland Rye Whiskey, which is a historic beverage, and Maryland was, again, the first to produce and create and make popular that beverage. You made that the state spirit 2 years ago, and that has done a number of things. That has begun to do what naming bourbon as Kentucky's spirit has done for Kentucky, and that is to identify Maryland as the place where that product comes from. What does that do on the ground? That means that a new distiller has a ready market for a product that is truly unique to Maryland. Yes, other people can make it, but nobody makes a Maryland Rye whiskey, and in this case, it's the same for Orange Crushes. We have distillers now that are opening up specifically to make rye whiskey. We have a newly, I think it's run in its second year now, a rye whiskey event called Rye Revival, which is bringing in folks nationally to Baltimore, to Frederick, to Annapolis to sample this spirit.
Delegate Kerr.
Madam Chair, Delegate Hartman, I'd like to discuss with you a possible amendment to say that the vodka, the official vodka, has to come from a Frederick distillery.
Getting provincial.
We'll have to talk offline on that because I don't know what distillery that is. So
We can put that in uncodified language, right? Just kidding. Delegate Hutchinson.
Madam Chair, Delegate Hartman, could you remind the committee as to why we went with this as the official state cocktail and not the official state drink?
Well, there's already an official state drink, which is milk. So this is, why are we doing this? Because Delaware tried to steal it. There was this all started with our U.S. senators having a little contest, and no one brought up the fact that this is Maryland's drink. And all the popularity was around Dewey and the bar there that took it and kind of distorted the menu, from what I understood, because they're saying that they tweaked it to improve it. I don't know, from what we've heard today, there's no need for improvement. And, so that's, when I heard that, I was just furious, because how can this happen? How can they be stealing it when it started in Maryland? We own this. We need to set the record straight. And we need to, like I said, to make this as synonymous as the Maryland crab cake, as synonymous as Kentucky for their fried chicken. you're going to see on the menu the original Maryland Orange Crush, and it's going to be synonymous, and that's how we're going to grow. When people come here, they're going to want to have, an Orange Crush. You're going to see orange bumper stickers. Your first crushers in Maryland, a little glass on the side. It's going to happen. So, and it's going to be a lot of fun doing it. Like I said, we need something fun this year. We need something to show our Maryland pride. And this is the one I'd really ask you to get behind.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is the 52-week data on case sales and dollar values, is that nationwide or?
The numbers I gave were from Maryland, from the wholesalers. That was just Maryland sales. So the one was saying 4,700 cases of orange vodka. That to me is about 42,000 bottles at the 9-liter version. The Republic National Distributing for Maryland 12-month volume, 12,647 cases, again times 9 bottles. Triple Sec, 15,588 cases times the quantity of bottles in Maryland. Smirnoff, which happens to be the brand that's in the original recipe for the Maryland Orange Crush, 129,528 bottles of Smirnoff Orange in Maryland alone.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions. Thank you. Oh, Delegate Martinez.
Just so I'm sure, because I just did some really extensive research, Delaware, even though they didn't originate the drink, has already passed something to claim as it's their cocktail, correct?
And that's why it's important for us to set the record straight with this and make sure that we get the story out that this belongs to Maryland.
Because I saw they also had some inflammatory language about how they perfected the cocktail, and so I want to make sure that we correct the record.
We saw it also.
That's why my face is red and I need a blood pressure pill.
They're very
I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Delegate Olson.
Move favorable.
That is not how we roll in this committee. Any other questions? Okay, all right, I don't see, any other questions.
Chairwoman?
Yes.
Let's not
Would you like
forget-
me to ask you for, the way we do it, I have to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you'd like to be asked? Go ahead.
I have an old T-shirt design that I think you guys might like to hear.
Oh, yeah? Go ahead.
So just ask me the design.
What is the
And I
design?
The O Crush everyone's raving about.
All right.
We have been supporting Maryland, like I said, for a long time.
And I tell you
We would
what,
like
and you should
Maryland
try
to support us.
to do a contract with the O's, the Orioles.
We tried. We sent them the T-shirts we brought today when Chris Crush.
I didn't know that would work on it.
Thank you so much.
you.
Let's call the next panelist, please. We have.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We have Ruth Toomey. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name. Oh, was right? Thank you. Melanie Purcell. Marcy Ross. Are you related to Delegate Ross? That will get you extra points. No, I'm just kidding.
So the answer is yes.
Rachel Jones. Okay, and will you bring Jim Mathias, former Senator Jim Mathias, bring him up, please? And who would like to get started?
I can start. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the committee. My name is Ruth Toomey. I am the Executive Director of the Maryland Tourism Coalition. We are the trade association that represents all sectors of the tourism industry, and we are here to ask for a favorable report. As it's been said many times, it's been a crazy session, and we all just want to have a little fun, and this is one of those bills. But there's also economic development to it. And as it has been mentioned too, that Delaware did steal it from us, and Jimmy Charles actually even has a song called "It's a Maryland Thing," and this is one of those things. It is a Maryland thing. In 2015, the Maryland Office of Tourism launched a 5 Senses of Tourism campaign incorporating food and beverage into the TASTE campaign. Iconic state designations like this one have proven to help attract visitors to special destinations. For instance, people travel to Smith Island specifically for an authentic Smith Island cake. Similarly, in National Travel Tourism Week campaign, we asked Marylanders what they associate with our state. The Orange Crush was the top choice, later becoming one of our iconic Maryland scavenger hunt pieces. While the Orange Crush originated in Ocean City, it has grown to be a Maryland-wide phenomenon, beloved from the beaches to the mountains. Queen Anne's County even promotes it in its Crabs and Crushes campaign to guide visitors to places where they can enjoy both crabs and crushes and a signature cocktail. Every year, Phillips Crab Deck in Baltimore celebrates opening day with O's and Crushes. And Be More Around Town hosts a popular Crush bus tour, now in its 10th year. This event, which sells out annually, takes participants on a tour of Maryland venues to discover the state's best Orange Crush cocktails, introducing patrons to new venues they've never seen before and often return back with friends and family. The Orange Crush is not just a drink, but a part of a Maryland experience. Designating as the state cocktail will undoubtedly drive more tourism and strengthen the state's economy. With the current 9% alcohol tax on each Orange Crush served, passing HB 1001 would create a perfect opportunity to celebratory events across bars and restaurants, boosting both food and beverage sales across the state. Additionally, retailers will also have T-shirts and stuff to do, so that throws me off. So anyway, I know that you
purposely to wrap up.
Yeah, that's all good. You have my testimony, and I was almost done, but we vote for a favorable report. Thank you much.
Hi. Thank you. Hi, my name is Melanie Purcell. I am the Director of Tourism and Economic Development for Worcester County on Maryland's coast. Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the committee. So, as you'll hear probably from the next few panelists, this is economic development. It's fun, but it's also important. Tourism is business, and this is all about business as well. So we're asking for a favorable report for HB 1001. And although the fresh squeezed Orange Crush was created in Worcester County, in Ocean City at Harborside, we're certainly going to see a statewide benefit and economic impact. It's a unique marketing opportunity for all of Maryland to increase tourism and economic activity. In fact, we hosted, I think it was about 20 group tour operators from Germany just a few months ago, and they had lunch at Harborside, and we served them Orange Crushes because it was a signature cocktail for us. Its designation will certainly generate tax revenue for the state through the product sales, media exposure, restaurant bar promotion, and possibly even statewide events. We know how much events bring business. And then celebrating that state cocktail and just having that Maryland pride. You heard Ruthie mention the Smith Island cake. I actually did a little bit more research on that. And, as it was designated in 2008, the Smith Island cake has impacted the state's economy, not just Smith Island, not just Somerset County, not just the shore, particularly in tourism and media exposure, but the visitors are very eager to experience that authentic dessert and the local culture. In fact, it's been shown on shows such as the Today Show and the Chew, and I don't know if anybody recently saw the 60 Minutes episode about Smith Island, and the cake was featured and sales went through the roof. So again, just an example of how that can articulate into business. The increased visibility and tourism associated with the cake have contributed to our economy, and we certainly think that that's going to happen here with the Orange Crush. So I just strongly support this, and I urge a favorable report, and I have written testimony as well that has a lot more information, but thank you.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Marcy Ross, the Acting Managing Director of the Maryland Department of Commerce, Offices of Tourism and Film. I am here today in strong support of House Bill 1001, designating the original Maryland Orange Crush as the official state cocktail. I want to start out by thanking Delegate Hartman for leading this effort and for his advocacy and support for Maryland's tourism industry in general, and as a member of the Maryland Tourism Development Board. As you well know, the Orange Crush is 30 years old, and it was born in 1995, and it's not only grown in popularity on Maryland's Eastern Shore, but certainly statewide. And of course, with Delaware attempting to stake its claim about the Orange Crush, as well as trying to improve it, no one else but Maryland can claim the original Orange Crush. So I strongly encourage you to support the legislation. When it comes to tourism, here in Maryland, we focus on our differentiators, the things that celebrate us as well as set us apart from our competitors. And we do that in order to attract tourism and visitor spending to our great state. That includes not just our attractions and destinations, but also the state symbols and other items that make Maryland unique. if you look at the list of already designated state symbols and that are noted in the fiscal note, you'll see that that many of those things are important when we think of Maryland. The oriole, the skipjack, the rockfish, lacrosse, to name a few, and of course we are Mare-Rye land. All right, there you go. There you go. So, designating the Orange Crush as the official state cocktail opens the possibility of marketing messages to bring visitors to Ocean City and try the Orange Crush in the land where it actually originated. So, I urge you to support the bill as the Maryland Department of Commerce requests that favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. Usually you would just get me for the controversial things like PFAS and raw milk, but the secretary really wanted to be here today to support the sponsor. And so with that, I'll just say me too to Secretary Annex.
Are there any questions for this panel? Delegate Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks for bringing the bill. Whoever's best to answer, can you tell us what the return is for every dollar spent in tourism in Maryland?
May I? Yeah. As it stands now, for every dollar spent on marketing Maryland as a world-class destination, the return on investment is $34 to 1.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commission, as you wait for your bill to be called. We're going on to the last witness for this bill, and then we're going to be going to House Bill 899. Followed by House Bill 368. Good afternoon, Senator Mathias. How are you?
I'm doing well, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, distinguished members of HGO. Thank you for asking. I'm doing well, and I bring you greetings from the beautiful beaches and world-class boardwalk of Ocean City, Maryland, the home of the Orange Crush. I thank you so much for this time. I value your time. And before we go, I want to have a toast to you for your public service, to all of you at this challenging time in our country, nation, and all. I want to say that I had the privilege, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, of having been on the City Council, as my colleague, Delegate Hartman, was, when the Orange Crush was founded. Then I was fortunate to be elected mayor 5 times of Ocean City, of which one of those times we traveled to Estonia when the Soviet Union was dissolved, and we went to Estonia to take economic development there. We had an excellent time, and we brought that delegation back to Maryland, and the very first place we went was the harbor side. And we were going, doing a boat tour, sort of like bar hopping on a boat, and I had the delegation. We had an Orange Crush at the bar, and I said, we got to go now. It's time to go. They said, oh, these Orange Crushes, they're very good. Can we get another one before we leave? So with that, I bring to you my full support and respectfully ask a unanimous report on this bill. It's important. You've heard across the spectrum of economic development. I was very proud to see our Secretaries of Agriculture, see our Secretary of Economic Development represented today. This is what it's all about. When you ask the question, what's the return on investment for tourism? 34 to 1. And I will say to you, that's critically important now. For every dollar invested by the state, to get a 34 to 1 return on investment is most important at this time that we're working to resolve this budget in our great state of Maryland. So I say thank you to you. And I say here's to a unanimous, well, first of all, I have a toast here to you for your good work, public service, and to unanimous report on this HB 1001. Thank you.
Thank you. I have my tea here. Okay.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Delegate Riley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hi, Senator Mathias. How are you? Good to see you. Yes, it is. So my question today would be, so why do you think Delaware, tried to steal our cocktail?
Well,
For what purpose would they try?
You've already heard imitation is the greatest form of flattery. When you see a good thing, people try to take it from you. We all know what that is in human behavior. But we are going to succeed. Senator Cardin, Senator Van Hollen hosted over in our U.S. Capitol, or Senate in the U.S. Capitol. Maryland prevailed, and we're going to prevail here today. And we thank you. It's emulating a great thing.
Do you think it was because it would improve our economy?
Oh, certainly. Look, you do everything. Mom always said to me, and my mother, everything in moderation, nothing in excess. And you could look at consumption of alcohol different ways, but we are responsible in our consumption, and it is an economic driver.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other questions. Thank you for being with us. This is actually the last witness, but I know there are other people that did not sign up. Do you want to get up, please? Stand up and we can just recognize you. Just get up or wave. Go ahead. All right. Wonderful. Welcome to HGO. So this concludes the bill hearing on House Bill 1001. Let's move on, please, to House Bill 399. Delegates Wallach and Solomon, General Provisions, Commemorative Months, Muslim American Heritage, and Jewish American Heritage Months. Will you please come up? And if you have a panel, feel free to bring them as well. And you can get started. Welcome to HGO.
Thank you. Good afternoon,
welcome.
Chair Pena Melnick, Vice Chair Cullison, and esteemed members of the House Health and Government Operations Committee. For the record, I'm Delegate Sarah Wallach of District 16, along here with Delegate Solomon of District 18, and we are here to present House Bill 899, Commemorative Months, Muslim American Heritage, and Jewish American Heritage Months. House Bill 899 will require the Governor of Maryland to declare January as Muslim American Heritage Month and May as Jewish American Heritage Month in the state of Maryland. Both Muslim and Jewish Americans have contributed significantly to Maryland's history, and this bill would encourage organizations across the state to recognize and celebrate these heritage months through relevant programs, ceremonies, educational activities. It is probably not known to most Marylanders that the first Jewish Marylander in historical record are David Ferreira and Jacob Lombroso, who came to this land in 1657 as a trader and a physician, respectively. Meanwhile, Avuba Soleiman Daelo is the earliest documented Muslim in Maryland, who arrived in 1750 to Annapolis as an enslaved person and later forced to labor on a tobacco farm. A few hundred years later, both communities have grown so that now it is estimated that there are about 250,000 Jews and up to 350,000 Muslims living in our great state. Both communities have deep roots and history in our state, and their presence is essential to our state's identity. And neither group is a monolith. Up to 12% of Jews in the area are people of color, not to mention Jews of North African and Middle Eastern descent. Muslim Marylanders are one of the most diverse groups, with 25% identifying as Black, 24% as white, 18% as Asian, and 18% as Arab. Jews and Muslims occupy every aspect of our state society and have contributed to and excelled in a variety of fields, including the arts, the sciences, politics, sports, entertainment, and academia. But despite these contributions, both face discrimination and othering. Delegate Solomon and I believe that by highlighting the contributions, diversity, and history of Jews and Muslims through their respective heritage months, we as a body can help dispel stereotypes and misconceptions and foster a more inclusive and tolerant society. Celebrations and events can bring people together from different backgrounds, strengthening community bonds and promoting unity. Highlighting the achievements of Jewish and Muslim Americans can inspire young people within the community to pursue their dreams and continue to contribute positively to society. Montgomery County, from which both Delegate Solomon and I represent, have already made these two months as designations, and we are here today to advocate for statewide recognition. I will also say this bill has no fiscal note, and thank you for your time and ask for a favorable report on House Bill 899.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be brief, and thank you, colleagues. The only piece that I wanted to add was Delegate Wolek and I talked very early in session, and we made a very conscious decision, rather than doing two separate bills, to do this together. And I'm very glad that we did. It's been a real pleasure working with Delegate Wolek, and I think in a time of very deep division, we wanted to do something to unify our communities and really show the communities supporting one another and the message that it would send. So again, it's been a real pleasure working with the communities to bring this bill forward, and would just urge a favorable report. Thank you.
Delegate, appreciate you. Who would like to go next, please?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Reverend Lawrence Walker. I serve as the Executive Director for the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives. We house the state's ethnic and cultural commissions, through which we are involved with several different faith communities, including our Middle Eastern Commission. We've been hearing a lot of desire from the communities for such a bill, and so we stand in full agreement with this bill, and we recommend a favorable report from this committee.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Next, please.
Hi, and thank you, Chair Pena-Melnick and Vice Chair Cullison, and esteemed members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. My name is Mona Kishore. I'm a resident of Montgomery County. I am also a commissioner on the GOSI Commission for Middle Eastern American Affairs, where we have representation of Jewish and Muslims, as myself am a Muslim American. I came to the realization that I wanted to settle my family in Maryland after being someone who is able to live in many different parts of the country and abroad because of the openness and the unity in Maryland. I live in Glen Echo, which is a community that's over 80% Jewish. I am the only Muslim American family in that community and have really enjoyed sharing my heritage and sharing my traditions with my neighbors. This bill allows for us to expand that unity across our state and not just have it in pockets within Maryland. For this reason, I would like to hugely endorse a favorable report on HB 899.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I'm going to open it up for questions now. Are there any questions for this panel? Delegate Kaiser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To Delegate Wallach or Delegate Solomon, whoever can answer quicker, with wars happening now and over time, and then the flack that both communities get from members within our own community at different times, did you believe putting this bill together was showing a sign of solidarity that the world needs a little more of?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
100%.
Any other questions? Delegate Alston.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say I commend you all for working together on this. I think this is now the third bill where we saw both communities come together. Delegate Kaiser had one earlier this year where both the Jewish community and Muslim community came together in support of her legislation, and I had one in judiciary where both communities came together in support. So I believe there's more to support that unites us than divides us. Wouldn't you all agree?
Amen.
Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for being with us.
Madam Chair, we had another Rabbi Grossman who's on the sponsor panel.
Yes,
she's virtual.
I'm going to call next.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you be so kind and bring her up, please? Thank you. And I also have Abigail Snyder. Is she here from the Baltimore Jewish Council? Will you come up, please? And I believe there's also two other virtual, Rasa Khan and Rafi Ron. Could you bring them up, please? Let's just do them all.
Yeah, we have another person who had difficulty signing up. I leave it to you, Chair.
You have to sign up to testify, but I'm going to allow it. But what I need you to do is that I need you then to go over to my office because it's required and see my chief of staff, Michelle, so you can give her your information for the record. But you can come forward.
I'll take her over there after the hearing.
Yeah. You can come forward. No, come here and testify first.
Yeah, come on up. I'll take you over there.
Okay. All right. May I please have Rabbi Susan Grossman? Will you please, good afternoon. Welcome to HGO. And can you get started, please? Go ahead. You can get started, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Chair Peña-Melnick and Vice Chair Cullison and esteemed members of the Health and Government Operations Committee, my name is Rabbi Susan Grossman.
Yes, go ahead and give us your testimony.
We're getting feedback, by the way. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know why, but if you could give us your testimony, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. So I testified today as a private, I'm a member of GOCHI's Middle Eastern American Affairs, but I testified today as a private citizen.
Do you have the YouTube on? Excuse me, do you have your YouTube on? Do you have the computer on with the hearing?
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that.
I'll tell you what, let's walk through it. It's okay. Take your time, 1 second. Do me a favor, turn off your video.
How do I turn it off?
No, turn off your video and just give us your testimony. Let's see if that helps. Can you hear me? Just turn off the video, leave it off, and give us your testimony. Can you speak? Can you hear me?
I don't think it helps. I can't get
Yes,
off
we
the
can
page.
hear you clearly. Just go ahead and give us the testimony. We can hear you.
Okay, so can you hear me now? So
Yes.
should I start from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, great. So
You're welcome. Go
Chair
ahead.
Melnick and Vice Chair Cullison and esteemed members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. My name is Rabbi Susan Grossman, and while I'm a commissioner on the Governor's Commission on Middle Eastern Affairs, I testify as a private citizen and interfaith leader to support HB 899, establishing January as Muslim American Heritage Month and May as Jewish American Heritage Month. Ethnic Heritage Month inspires schools, cultural institutions, and community organizations to celebrate and learn more about different heritages of our citizens. At a time when inclusion and diversity are under siege, Heritage Months encourage and strengthen a social fabric of understanding and mutual responsibility by improving our citizens' respect for each other and our myriad differences. Indeed, the tapestry of our diverse identities as Marylanders is one of the most precious things uniting us in a nation torn by derision and division. Maryland has already recognized many Heritage Months by statute: Irish American, Caribbean, Hispanic, German American, American Indian Heritage Months, and there's a Black and Women's History Month. Jewish and Muslim communities are two significant Maryland minorities missing from that list. In 2024, Maryland's Jewish community experienced a shocking 211% increase in anti-Semitic incidents according to ADL's annual audit. It was the 7th largest spike of any Jewish community in the nation. ACLU reports that hate crimes against Muslims also rose last year, exacerbated by anti-immigrant sentiment. The kind of education encouraged by Muslim and Jewish Heritage Months can combat such rising hate. HB 899 has brought together the Jewish and Muslim communities to support its passage when international events have tested the alliance between our two communities. We stand united today to urge passage of this bill, codifying the celebration of our Jewish and Muslim heritages. This gives me hope for a more cooperative future, strengthened by the opportunities offered by these months, and they should become law. And I thank you for your attention and urge a favorable report.
Thank you, Rabbi, for being with us, and thank you for being patient as we both figure it out. My son will be very happy that I remember his tip to turn off the video. Thanks for being with us. Okay, we appreciate you. Let's move on to Mr. Dr. Khan. Will you be so kind and give us your testimony?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair Peña-Melnick, Vice Chair Cullison, and esteemed members of the committee. My name is Dr. Raza Khan, and I'm here as a private citizen to express the support for HB 899. Salam, Shalom. These two words mean peace for people of Islamic and Jewish faith, respectively, and they embody the spirit of mutual respect that this bill seeks to promote. As a Muslim American, I believe in the importance of acknowledging the rich and diverse heritage that contributes to the fabric of our state and our nation. Designating January as Muslim American Heritage Month and May as Jewish American Heritage Month in Maryland is a step towards celebrating and recognizing the invaluable contributions of these communities. Both Muslim and Jewish communities have been victims of hate, and this bill sets an exemplar for all other states to follow in recognizing the importance of mutual respect and combating hate. For the Muslim community, such recognition is not just a matter of honoring our history, but also of addressing the challenges we face in terms of understanding and acceptance. Muslims in America, including here in Maryland, have long been active in the field of education, healthcare, business, politics, and civic engagement. Yet, all too often, our stories are overlooked or we are reduced to stereotypes. By establishing an official month of recognition, we open the door to broader cultural understanding and encourage others to learn about our faith, values, and shared experiences. It also strengthens the sense of belonging for the next generation of Muslim Americans. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the Jewish American community, our brethren, and recognize the significant role that they have played in shaping our society. This bill has the potential to foster unity, promote cultural awareness, and create opportunities for collaboration and celebration through our educational and cultural organizations. Personally, this recognition means more to me than words can express. As a father, a husband, a son, a neighbor, an educator, this affirms our dignity and our place in this world. It is not just celebrating our heritage, but a powerful declaration that we matter, we belong, and together we build a future grounded in respect. Thank you for your consideration, and I urge a favorable report on House Bill 899.
Thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. Why don't we go next to, is it Ms. Snyder?
Yep.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Abby Snyder, Director of Government Relations for the Baltimore Jewish Council, which represents the Associated Jewish Federation of Baltimore, all of its agencies, and the greater Baltimore area Jewish community. Here today in support of HB 899. And if I had realized that we were passing out drinks today, I would have brought you some Manischewitz, but also I feel like I'm secretly sparing you by not bringing it here. In the same way that you all passed legislation a few years ago to require Maryland to annually recognize Holocaust Remembrance Day. This small but important legislation highlights Maryland's commitment to celebrating the rich history, cultural contributions, and experiences of our communities. May was officially designated federally as Jewish American Heritage Month in 2006, marking the 350th anniversary of Jews arriving in America. And the effort to recognize January as Muslim American Heritage Month is working its way through Congress for federal recognition right now. At a time when our communities, as you all know all too well, are plagued with divisive rhetoric and hate speech, it's truly important that we use these opportunities to celebrate our differences and better understand our neighbors. By requiring the governor to annually proclaim these respective months, we're ensuring Maryland's commitment to this mission. And I would just really like to echo what Delegate Solomon said about having these opportunities to bring our communities together, to work together. It's really important, especially at times like these. So thank you, and we urge a favorable report.
You just reminded me of my mom. I lost her 16 years ago, but in my Dominican household, for all the holidays, we have Manischewitz Concord grape wine.
I'm very sorry, but I'm glad I could remind you of that.
Anyway, who's next? Go ahead.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Respected, dear honorable members of the Health and Government Operations Committee and respected madam. My name is Tahira Masawrat Hussain, and I am here today to support House Bill 899, which hopes to establish January and May as Muslim and Jewish Heritage Month in the state of Maryland. Besides the several contributions to this state that I am sure everyone on this committee has been touched by or benefited from, this bill also comes at a time when acknowledgement, education, and understanding of Muslim and Jewish people is very important. Muslim heritage bills have passed in several states and counties in this country, and this time for Maryland to get on board and keep up our reputation as leaders in protective legislation that benefits our citizens. Montgomery County and Howard County. I requested my Howard County Executive, Kelvin Ball, and he already passed this proclamation. And he already passed this proclamation, declared January as Muslim American Heritage Month. Not only will this bill give deserved gratitude to these communities that have always viewed themselves as a part of whole and have contributed immensely towards a sense of community, but this bill also serves as a form of prevention for growing xenophobia against our fellow Jewish and Muslim brothers and sisters. This bill shows our partnership and shared goals. Bills such as this may seem small to some, but the emergence of anti-Semitism and Islamic phobia on social media platforms that our young children are exposed to every day are incredibly influential, even on a subconscious level. This is a way to fight back and prevent further use of our identities to further a political agenda or breed hate between all of us. We are tired of having to be the ones to say not in our names. We need everyone in this state to have the exposure, appreciation, and education to say not in their name. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for using your voices. We really appreciate it, okay? We do not take it for granted. There's one more person virtually, but I understand that person is not there. It's Rafi Rohn, not there? Let the record reflect that we called that person. That was all the witnesses. I'm going to open it up for questions now. Are there questions for this Delegate Hill?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all for being here, taking the time. It's good to see both of you again and seeing you all. Rabbi Grossman, since you live in the best district in the state, and you have decades of experience in international and national leadership across divisions, would you say, what is your thought that where people are trying to or seem invested in sowing division, is there any better place than Maryland for us to take a stand that we will not allow division to be sown and we will not allow hate to spread?
Thank you for that question and for your partnership for many, many decades. It is incredibly important that the partnerships that we have here, and we've always believed that if we can do it here in Maryland, we can achieve it elsewhere. And so therefore, the models that we set here have a reverberation effect throughout the country, and not just the country, but around the world to a certain extent. And so we have an incredible opportunity. Can you still see me? Because I can't see me. Incredible opportunity to make a difference here. And so I encourage you to recommend this 2 months as additions to our Heritage Monthly calendar.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you for being with us today. This concludes the bill hearing on House Bill 899. Next, we have Delegate, one second, House Bill 368, Delegate Guides and General Provisions, Commemorative Month, Maryland Native Plant Month.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. And I would love for Rachel Jones to also join my panel, and that's, okay, great. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't count. Thank you so much, and I have, my voting session has been pushed back by 15 minutes 3 times today, so currently I have 10 minutes, so it worked out perfectly, I hope. So I am, for the record, Delegate Michelle Guyton, District 42B in Baltimore County, and I am thrilled to present you, unfortunately not Orange Crush, which sounded great. But a very important bill today, House Bill 368, to officially recognize May as Maryland Native Plant Month. Now, Maryland is not the first to have native plants, but we are one of the best at trying to get rid of our invasives and understanding the importance of them. And we do a lot of that work over across the street, across the hall in ENT. So, what we are asking is that the governor for the past 3 years has actually named either May or April as Native Plant Month in Maryland, but we would like for this to be an official commemoration Right? Sometimes the date for the month changes and it's kind of inconsistent and they don't know until the last minute. So officially declaring May, which is also Mother's Day and the best time to plant your native plants, right? As Maryland Native Plant Month will give our nurseries and our farmers consistency and the ability to better promote what they grow and for us to educate the public about the benefits of choosing native plants over invasive. So House Bill, 368 has no fiscal note, but has enormous positive economic and environmental impacts for the state. And I'm hoping that someone will ask one of my colleagues here how much it costs Maryland to try to eradicate those invasive plants every year. So House Bill 368 declares May Maryland Native Plant Month. The nurseries and the wholesalers will benefit. Locally grown flowers and plants will be chosen over the plants that we often import and that also have environmental impacts on our state negatively. So each year Maryland spends millions and millions and millions of dollars combating the effect of invasive plants. This bill will also help educate the public about the importance of native over invasive. So it's a pro-business, pro-environment bill that benefits everyone with an annual declaration. And for these reasons, I urge your favorable report on House Bill 368. Thank you so much. And I apologize if I get up and run. It's because I have to vote on some of your bills.
Who would like to go next? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Mary Ellen P. Sheeler. I'm a lifelong Marylander, proud grandmother, and very interested in native plants. We would like an annual commemorative month. Sorry, I'm going to start over. An annual commemorative month that Maryland's businesses and communities can depend on year after year after year, because it will create opportunities to engage the public in sort of interesting, fun, hands-on opportunities that by default lead to greater public awareness about the benefits of native plants. It heightened enthusiasm for native plants and all the benefits to our environment. So as Delegate Guyton said, we are grateful to Governor Moore. He's issued a proclamation declaring Maryland Native Plant Month 2 years in April, and then this year he, I'll turn it right side up, did it for May, and there's a good reason for that. So the proclamations by nature are not guaranteed, and a new request must be submitted every year. So this uncertainty does not provide enough notice for community groups to plan activities or for nurseries to plan adequate inventory in advance. They just don't know it's coming for sure. Conversely, a law like HB 368 is permanent and everyone can count on it. And it's this inherent predictability that is the ticket to providing the nurseries, retailers, wholesalers, growers, the assurance they need to grow adequate inventory to meet this increased demand by raising more awareness. And best of all, HB 368 is bipartisan. It imposes zero mandates and will not cost our government or taxpayers a dime either. Was that my button?
Can you give us your name for the record, please?
Mary Ellen Pease Sheeler.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Who would like to go next?
Marie.
Okay.
I'm Marie Laporte with the Maryland Sierra Club, and we support HB 368, which will serve to educate Marylanders about the critical importance of native plants to wildlife, Maryland ecosystems, and humans, and will provide a great business opportunity for the Maryland nursery trade. Like tossing a pebble into water, this annual proclamation will have a much larger ripple effect. Native plants are the keystone food for much of our wildlife, including important native pollinators. Of the 100 crops that supply 90% of human nutrition, over 70 require bee pollination. And according to the U.S. Geological Survey, for almost all crops, native bees are the primary pollinator, or they significantly supplement the activity of European honeybees. Even crops like cotton and soybeans and peppers, which don't need a pollinator, have a higher yield when visited by bees. To put it simply, native pollinators are critical to sustain food production for humans and wildlife and support the entire food web. When we plant natives, we are helping to sustain our native pollinators and ultimately ourselves. In addition, 75% of North American plant species require an insect, frequently bees, to pollinate them, enable that plant to reproduce. Without these pollinators, these plants will die out. Imagine our world without 3/4 of our plants. Scientists estimate that there are 8 million species on the planet. But unfortunately, at least 1 million are expected to be extinct by 2050. Maybe even as much as a third. The decline of wildlife species is complex. In many cases, it's the 1-2-3 punch of pesticides, lack of native plants, and climate change. While addressing climate change is a global challenge, nearly all of us can choose to plant native plants and reduce harmful pesticide usage. Marylanders are starting to understand the connection between native plants and wildlife and want to help. A commemorative month is a great way to raise public awareness and gain support for native plants. We respectfully urge a favorable report on HB 368. Thank you.
My name is Kirsten Hoffman, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Maryland Native Plant Society. In addition to the many benefits of native plants, including supporting pollinators, increasing biodiversity, improving soil health, and managing stormwater runoff, native plants are needed as an alternative to the non-native invasive plants that cause so much damage to our environment. As we face the dual challenges of habitat loss and climate change, we need native plants more than ever. Per Maryland law, invasive plant species did not evolve in our state and cause economic, ecological, or environmental harm or harm to human health. Globally, losses of ecosystem services and agricultural productivity due to invasive plants cost in the hundreds of billions of dollars each year. In Maryland, the cost to control and remove invasives to farmers and property owners is ever increasing. One of the most pervasive invasive plants in our state, English ivy, aggressively colonizes the ground and the tree canopy. English ivy in the tops of trees blocks sunlight and impedes photosynthesis, weakening trees. In windy weather, the additional weight of the ivy topples trees, creating a hazard to people and property. English ivy is also a reservoir for bacterial leaf scorch, which threatens oak, elm, and maple trees. A Maryland Native Plant Month could help promote native alternatives to English ivy. The native vine, Virginia creeper, is an excellent alternative, as are native ground covers like wild ginger, American alum root, and Christmas fern. A Maryland Native Plant Month could also help promote native alternatives to Japanese barberry, an invasive shrub which is spread from residential and commercial landscapes to our natural areas. Japanese barberry's dense thickets create a humid microclimate that supports black-legged ticks, the carriers of Lyme disease pathogen, posing a danger to human health. Proclaiming May as Maryland Native Plant Month can help spread the word about the benefits of Maryland native plants and help grow local native plant businesses. The Maryland Native Plant Society requests a favorable report on SB 368.
Thank you. I apologize, Madam Chair, but I have to vote.
It's okay.
Thank you.
You're in good hands.
I know I am.
Thank you. Go ahead, Rachel.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. So again, Rachel Jones, Director of Government Relations for the Maryland Department of Agriculture. MDA highly supports this bill. We understand that the promotion of native plants is going to make it easier for folks across Maryland to understand just how critical biodiversity and pollinators are to the food ecosystem here in our state. Over the past decade, lots of bills have been passed over in ENT, as Delegate Guyton already shared, that give us the ability as an agency to not only further regulate invasive species, but also to promote and market native plants here in the state of Maryland so that we can talk about the importance of ensuring that our pollinators, the bees and butterflies and things like that, have the proper habitat in order to continue doing their work so that we can promote the, again, biodiversity in our agricultural ecosystem. Plants native to Maryland include elderberry and sunflowers and our beloved black-eyed Susan, the state flower. And so Maryland farmers already recognize the role that that pollinators have and native plants have, and many of them are doing their job to make sure that there's a little bit of that kind of diversity on their farms. So we would love the opportunity with this type of designation for the state to have school systems and different organizations also be promoting that so that we can help make sure that all of our folks across the state are educated and understand the importance of native plants. Approximately 1/3 of our food supply relies on pollinating birds and animals and insects. And so we'd really love to see this designation pass so that we can have an opportunity to continue to partner with folks all across the state, not just our farmers and gardeners and plant enthusiasts, but all Marylanders, to make sure they understand the important role that pollinators and native plants have in our state. And with that, MDA would request a favorable report.
Thank you very much. Who's next? I guess everyone testify here. Let me open it up for questions. Any questions from this panel? Seeing none, thank you so much for being here. We do have 2 more witnesses virtually. Will you please bring Robert Jenkins and Kelly Lawhorn? And those are the 2 witnesses. Just for planning purposes, while they come up, we're going to do 2 bills. We have to be back on the floor at 5. So my goal is to do House Bill 802 and House Bill 117. Okay? Any other delegates in here? Besides, I saw you. Anyone else? All right. So those are the 2 we're going to take after this bill. Yes, Mr. Jenkins, will you be so kind and get started? We can hear you. You're muted.
Apologies for that. Thank
It's
you very
okay.
much, Madam Chairman, Vice Chair Cullison, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. Blue Water Baltimore is an environmental organization whose mission is to restore the quality of Baltimore's rivers, streams, and harbor to foster a healthy environment and a strong economy and thriving communities within our region. A core part of our work is operating Herring Run Nursery, and that's where I come in. I am the manager at Herring Run Nursery. We specialize in plants that are native in the Chesapeake watershed and in Maryland. We offer typically more than 250 varieties of plants that are native throughout the season. Our nursery staff is responsible for engaging and educating Baltimore communities about the many benefits and uses of these native plants. In the past decade, we have seen an increase in the number of residents interested in utilizing native plants. Annually, about 25% of our customers are new to use of Maryland native plants and to shopping at the nursery, and our sales have steadily increased. And while we typically see interest in Maryland native plants and planting most of the year, the busiest time of year for the industry as a whole, and what we have seen is in May. And in 2024, last year, 1/3 of our net sales occurred during May. By designating an entire month to plants indigenous to Maryland, House Bill 368 creates an opportunity within the industry for more sustained, focused, and fun programs, educating residents about native plants, and a build-up to peak sales season of May as Maryland Native Plant Month. With that being designated as Plant Month, Maryland Native Plant Month, HB 368 will increase interest in native plants and provide economic benefit of increased spring sales. We urge a favorable report on House Bill 368. Thanks for your time and attention.
Thank you. Are there any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate you. Next, let's go to the next witness. Is the next witness there? Kelly Lawhorn. She's not here. Let the record reflect that I did call her. This concludes the bill hearing on House Bill 368. Next, we're going to go to House Bill 802, followed by House Bill 117. I think that's all we're going to get to do before we have to be on the floor. And if you can quickly come up, please, and if you can say me too, that will help the committee tremendously because it's 4:35. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till later. Excuse me? We may not get to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. We're going to go after the young child, and we're going to do that. Go ahead. Who would like to get started? This is actually House Bill 802.
Yes.
All right.
Delegate Lewis, I believe, is still in a voting session.
Okay.
Coming over.
Is she gonna come over? Well, then let me go with the other witness, okay?
Yeah.
Because I need the primary sponsor then, okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought that she was here. Go ahead.
Would you like to call the other bill then?
If you can sit back in the audience, and I'll call you as soon as I see her. Let me go with Delegate Maggiano, okay? Because I need Delegate Lewis so she can present it.
Yes.
Unless she has authorized one of you to present it for her.
No.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, Delegate. How are you? And this is actually
Good, thank
House
you.
Bill 117, General Provisions, Commemorative Month, Italian Heritage Month.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'll try to be quick.
welcome.
And just for the record, I'll send it to you. We got a little late here, but Senator Rosa Pepp from across the hall sent a letter of support for this bill. So I'll get started right away. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. It's an honor. My name is Nino Mangione. An honor to be here, represent District 42A. An honor to present House Bill 117. House Bill 117 designates the month of October as Italian Heritage Month to recognize the invaluable contributions that Italian Americans have made to Maryland and to our country. This recognition is well-deserved, and I am here today to seek your support. Italian Americans have made significant contributions across many fields, and I want to highlight just a few for you today. William Paca, a signer of the Declaration of Independence. Paca went on to serve as the governor of Maryland in 1782. Frank Zappa, born in Baltimore, the legendary musician and composer. He left an enduring legacy in rock, jazz, and orchestral music. Nancy Pelosi, though she represents California, Mrs. Pelosi was born in Baltimore and maintains strong Maryland roots. She, of course, served as the Speaker of the House of Representatives and has been a member of Congress for 37 years. Our good friend John Pica, John Pica Sr. served on the Baltimore City Council on top of his heroic service in World War II, where he fought courageously for the United States and his beloved neighborhood of Little Italy in Monte Cassino and Anzio, Italy, and North Africa, where he was awarded the Silver Star for gallantry in action, the Bronze Star for valor and heroic achievement, the Combat Infantry Badge for active engagement in ground combat, 2 Purple Hearts, twice wounded in action, and the Good Conduct Medal. The list of Italian-American achievers is long, and it actually includes my favorite on the list, my grandfather, Nick B. Mangione, who was born in Baltimore's Little Italy neighborhood in 1925. He was the second of 4 children when his father passed away, and he was just 11 and immediately went to work selling newspapers to help support his family. He went on to serve in the United States Navy in World War II during the Battle of the Philippine Seas. And after returning home, he married my grandmother, Mary, and they had 10 children and built several businesses that remain in our family today. And he was also known for his local philanthropy. My grandfather's story is not unique across Maryland. You'll find countless Italian-American success stories. Those stories reflect pride, hard work, the entrepreneurial spirit, and a deep love for Maryland, for God, and for our families. Italian-American Marylanders have actively engaged in their communities, running businesses, creating jobs, paying taxes, and raising families. Italian-Americans have made significant contributions in fields such as engineering, science, entertainment, arts, and business. And of course, one of the greatest contributions from Italians is the cuisine. We all can agree on that. Whether you like the bill or not, we can all agree there's a lot to be said about pasta, pizza, cannolis, and the list on that goes on. So one final note, I want to make sure everyone is aware that there are already months dedicated to different groups. For example, the Irish, German Americans, Caribbean, and Hispanic months that we pay tribute to their contributions to Maryland. I think Italian-American Marylanders deserve this recognition, and I ask for your support in honoring my community that has given so much to our state by issuing a favorable report on House Bill 117. Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Any questions? Delegate Shalega can see with the bottle.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Mangione is a great bill, but I have to ask you, what is the best Italian food?
I mean, geez, it depends if my nonna was cooking it, but yes, it could be.
Nonna's cooking.
Lasagna is a favorite, and then anything veal Parmesan, veal scallopini, you name it. It's all the best. Thank you.
Delegate Woods.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Delegate Mangione, would you agree that Branzino is absolutely positively the best fish?
It's a close tie, yes, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very
I do
much.
have some. Where are the samples?
I'm sorry?
Where are the samples?
Oh, yes, if that would have helped get the votes, I should have. I didn't say I can cook. I mean, my Nana and my mother, but not me.
Just kidding. That's not allowed. Just kidding you. There are no other questions, delegates, so this concludes your bill hearing. Thank you for
Madam Chair.
waiting patiently on House Bill 117. It is 4:41. We're going to take a break here. We have to be at the floor at 5 o'clock. I try to call you so that you wouldn't be here unless you want to give your testimony, and then we can pause it and Delegate Robin Lewis can give hers later. Do you want that? I can give you that option. Yes, so that you don't have to wait for hours, because it'll be hours. How about, let me call House Bill 807, Delegate Robin Lewis, state destination, state carnivorous plant, purple pitcher plant, 802. House Bill 802, thank you so much. And you can give us your testimony, and then for people that are watching, what's gonna happen is we have to go to the floor at 5. Then we're going to come back after floor and continue with this bill and the rest of them. I apologize for everyone that has been waiting, but it is crossover week, and we have to be Gumby, meaning flexible. Okay, I apologize profusely. Good afternoon, how are you?
Good.
We want to give us your name and your testimony.
Hello, my name is Harrison Gordon. I live in Delegate Bagnall's district, and I am testifying in favor of HB 802 to make the purple pitcher plant the state carnivorous plant. First of all, carnivorous plants are amazing because they are a predator and they are a plant. I think the purple pitcher plant is the best because it is the only carnivorous plant that is native to Maryland. They also have a cool way on feeding on prey. The prey is lured by bright colors and sweet nectar. Then they enter the purple pitcher plant's deep pouch and get digested. I also think the purple pitcher plants are awesome because we have one in our yard and it survived through the snow and ice. Purple is also an important symbolic color for Maryland because of the Baltimore Ravens. Another name for the purple pitcher plant is turtle socks, which connects to our state reptile, the diamondback turban. By naming the purple pitcher plant the state carnivorous plant, more people will learn about them and hopefully they'll plant them like we did, instead of invasive plants, which is better for the environment. Thank you for listening. Please vote in favor of HB 802.
Thank you for being here. That was excellent, like a pro. That was excellent testimony. Who would like to go next?
Madam Chair, we have Delegate Lewis's staffer.
Okay, you want to go ahead?
Hi, thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jared Shabline, Delegate Robin Lewis's Chief of Staff, here on behalf of HB 802, which designates the purple pitcher plant as a state's official carnivorous plant. The idea of the bill came from talking to Dr. Michael Season, founder of the Carnivorous Plant Nursery in Smithsburg, Maryland, the largest of its kind in the eastern United States. He wondered why North Carolina has a designated native state carnivorous plant, the Venus flytrap, but Maryland does not. Delegate Lewis had a solution for that, hence the bill before you. Carnivorous plants evolved in micronutrition-poor environments like bogs, muddy shores, sandy shores. They get their nitrogen and phosphates from insects and small animals they digest. There are more than 600 recognized species throughout the world, but only a few are found naturally here in Maryland. The purple pitcher plant is a Maryland native that lures little bugs into its elegant bowl, dissolving them effortlessly. Sadly, habitat loss has diminished its native range. The otherworldly insect digester is the part of our state's biodiversity and ecological heritage, and as such deserves recognition. It's time for the boring old black-eyed Susan to move over and share the limelight with the purple pitcher plant, which, by the way, can be grown in carefully managed city garden pots. Delegate Lewis actually has a couple of herself in her garden. In fact, after growing the Bonnie bug eater in my downtown Baltimore native garden, I no longer fight with annoying flies. This plant is special that it has inspired environmentalists scientists, and super smart kids like Harrison, we have up here, to stand up and sing its praises. Also, an entire fourth grade class from Prince Street Elementary in Salisbury, Maryland agrees. Thank you for your willingness to stand up for one of Maryland's unsung habitat heroes, the insect-eating pitcher plant. I urge a favorable report of HB 802.
Thank you so much for giving her testimony. Next, please.
Chair Pena-Melnick, Vice Chair Cullison, members of the Health and Government Operations Committee. My name is Sarian Holt, and I am the Government Relations Manager for the National Aquarium. The National Aquarium respectfully requests a favorable report for HB 802, state designations, state carnivorous plant, purple pitcher plant. As a conservation organization, the National Aquarium is invested in caring for native plants and the environments in which they can be found. Our overarching strategic conservation goals are to combat climate change, stop plastic pollution, and save wildlife and habitats. The purple pitcher plant, or Sarracenia purpurea, is listed by the Maryland Department of Natural Resources as a S2 threatened or endangered plant, meaning that it is at high risk of extinction or extirpation due to restricted range, few populations, steep declines, severe threats, and other factors. Species of Sarracenia are generally found in bogs like those in Nassawengo Creek Preserve on the eastern shore. The National Aquarium, in partnership with the Nature Conservancy, has been working since 2009 to help restore the ecosystem in Nassawengo Creek by planting over 44,000 Atlantic white cedar saplings. Worcester County students help raise the saplings over the course of the school year before planting them in the spring, often with the help of Delegate Hartman. The replenishment of the Atlantic white cedars helps to create the perfect habitat for several rare and threatened species of plants, including rare native orchids, Britain's coast violet, and purple pitcher plants. In addition to providing important wildlife habitats, native plant gardens can help reduce polluted runoff from entering local waters and the Chesapeake Bay. They are also advantageous because they do not rely on additional watering, fertilizers, or pesticides to thrive, unlike their non-native counterparts. A few National Aquarium employees even have purple pitcher plants in their gardens. For this reason, we respectfully ask the committee for a favorable report on HB 802.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
No,
You done?
just here
All
for
right,
support.
Wonderful. So we'll open it up for questions for this panelist. Delegate Bagnall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to thank you for being here because I just received a message from Delegate Lewis who wanted me to make sure that we conveyed how proud of you we are, Emerson. Isn't that so?
You did really well. Good job. We appreciate your testimony. So this actually concludes the bill hearing on House Bill 802. And for planning purposes, it is 4:49. We have to be on the floor at 5. This is going to be the order when we come off the floor, which will be later tonight. I apologize for those of you that are waiting here. Actually, I don't see any delegates in here because they're voting and they're in their committees, so I apologize. That happens at this time during session. The order is going to be as follow. We're going to start when we come back with House Bill 16, House Bill 169, followed by House Bill 667, 668, House Bill 65, 1493, 1552, 1502, 1510, 1521, and we'll end with 1489.
5 more on the back.
Right. Oh. Oh my goodness gracious. Didn't I don't know. Okay. So we have also 690, right? And we have 1515, 1538, 1499, 1544, and 1555. We have a long day tonight.
I would say a long night.
So a long night, and so thank you for your patience, okay? We really appreciate you, and we'll see you later when we get off the floor. For those of you that are going to wait for your delegate, I would say Main Street is beautiful. I hope that you can maybe get something to eat, go by the water, stretch your legs, or come to the gallery and watch us in action. Okay, thank you for your patience. Thanks, everyone. Can I ask something? May I ask a question? Is there someone here for the following bills? Anyone for 1493? Anyone for 1552? Anyone for 1502? Yes. That is a sponsor-only bill. Oh, but you're going to, who's? She's introducing it on behalf of the sponsor. Okay. And then 1510, 1521, and 1489. Okay, those are sponsor only. All right, just want to make sure the witnesses are not here waiting. Oh, are those sponsor only? Oh, and hold on a second. 1515. Anyone? Okay, 1538, 1499, 1544, 1555. All right, we're good. I suggest to get something to eat for those of you that are going to come back, okay?